Nggak keluar suara.
Okay, Bismillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. My name is Iwan Juna, and I will be the moderator for this session along with Ibu Diah Taru Praceka. So welcome, Ibu Diah. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome, everyone.
Okay, so Bu Diah just recently completed her doctorate degree in Japan. So congratulations as well, Bu Diah. And before we start our session, I'd like to also introduce some of the people or speakers who are already here. But before that, I also want to thank Pak Chandra, Paniko, and all the organizers who make this event will be going very well, inshallah. So thank you to Kelompok Kajian Lingkungan dan Keberlanjutan, the Environmental Engineering Department of Itenas. This is our first webinar event, but for sure, we hope it won't be our last. So please stay tuned to our media outlets, WhatsApp group, website, YouTube for our future events. And I'd like to welcome the audience for especially the speakers who are already here. Ibu Juli, Professor Juli Soemirat. Welcome, Ibu Juli. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, and also Dr. Prapat. I'm not really sure if he is already here. Is Dr. Prapat already here?
I see him.
Yeah, I think he's here.
I think.
You think okay? So hopefully he also be already ready here. And also I like to welcome Ibu Rektor, Director of Itenas, Ibu Melinda. Good morning, Ibu Melinda. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
The head of the Department of Environmental Engineering Department, Ibu Eti, and our colleagues, my colleagues, who I cannot mention any of them, every of them at the moment. The Zoom participants, welcome all of you. Good morning. And also the YouTube participants. I've been informed that some of the audience also already stay tuned in the YouTube. So please stay tuned, and then inshallah we'll start the presentation very soon. And also for your information, this the YouTube channel is this official YouTube channel of the Emerging Department, and hopefully you also be able to see some of our event in the future through this YouTube channel. Before we start, some housekeeping or the rules of this webinar. Only a few things. The first one is the duration of this webinar. It will be in 2.5 hours roughly. So hopefully we will finish before 12 o'clock at noon. And then I kindly ask you to turn off the speakers and also the video, except for the speakers. So for those of you who are not speaking, please turn off your audio and video. And then for the questions later, there are three types or three ways you can ask question. First by first by raising your hand. There's a facility in the Zoom that you can raise your hand, and inshallah I'll be monitoring whether someone's raising the hand, and also through the Zoom chat and also YouTube comments. So please, you can start your question or prepare your question by raising hands later, Zoom chat, and the YouTube comments. And another thing, this presentation will be delivered in English. Prof. Juli and Dr. Prapat will deliver the presentation in English, but feel free to later ask question in English or Bahasa. If the questions are directed to Dr. Prapat, inshallah, either I or Ibu Dia will translate the question. Last thing, before we start, I think all now quite clear for all of us to start, but before we start, may I kindly ask you to have about 15 seconds silence, so all of us can pray for this COVID-19 pandemic to be over, and the silence starts now. Okay, I think we all set now. Hopefully, this is our first webinar, as I mentioned earlier. So now, without any further ado, I will welcome Director of Itenas, Ibu Melinda, to give the opening speech, the introduction speech, and the screen is yours. Mangga, Ibu Melinda.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Iwan. Yang saya hormati narasumber, Ibu Profesor Dr. Juli Soemirat dari Itenas dan Dr. Prapat Pongkiatkul from KMUTT University of Technology, Thonburi, Thailand. Yang saya hormati Bapak Ibu peserta webinar dan tentunya mahasiswa yang saya banggakan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi Bapak Ibu semua dan juga para mahasiswa peserta webinar, baik dari instansi perguruan tinggi maupun instansi pemerintah dan swasta. Semoga kita semua berada dalam kondisi sehat walafiat di tengah pandemi COVID yang sedang melanda seluruh dunia. Amin. Alhamdulillah pagi ini kita bisa bertemu pada acara seri webinar yang digagas oleh Kelompok Kajian Lingkungan Berkelanjutan, Program Studi Teknik Lingkungan Itenas dengan topik tentang kaitan aspek lingkungan hidup dan pandemi COVID-19 yang sedang terjadi. Telah hadir di sesi hari pertama ini Profesor Dr. Juli Soemirat dari Teknik Lingkungan Itenas dan Dr. Prapat Pongkiatkul dari KMUTT University of Technology, Thonburi, Thailand. On behalf of Itenas management team, we would like to thank both speakers, Profesor Dr. Juli Soemirat and Dr. Prapat Pongkiatkul, to share your immense knowledge in this particular important issue. Melalui kegiatan ini diharapkan kita bisa berdiskusi dan berkontribusi terhadap hasanah pemikiran yang diharapkan menjadi bagian dari solusi pengelolaan lingkungan saat ini untuk masa depan yang lebih baik. Berdasarkan catatan dari panitia, 53% peserta yang berada di aplikasi Zoom Meeting berasal dari perguruan tinggi yang tersebar mulai dari Sumatera sampai dengan Papua. Juga 19% berasal dari pemerintahan, termasuk instansi rumah sakit dan pelayanan kesehatan. Angka ini di luar jumlah peserta yang saat ini menyaksikan melalui channel YouTube, termasuk mahasiswa yang telah mendaftar melalui sistem e-learning Itenas. Dengan komposisi peserta yang luar biasa ini, partisipasi aktif dari peserta pada acara ini sangat diharapkan. Pada kesempatan ini juga perlu saya sampaikan bahwa Itenas terus berkontribusi dalam upaya penanganan wabah pandemi COVID melalui gerakan bantuan siaga pandemi COVID-19. Sampai saat ini telah tersalurkan face shield serta sanitizer produk mandiri Itenas kepada fasilitas pelayanan kesehatan yaitu puskesmas serta rumah sakit di Pulau Jawa dan Sulawesi. Demikian pengantar kegiatan ini dari saya. Semoga acara ini dapat berjalan dengan lancar dan memberi manfaat bagi kita semua, terutama bagi negara Indonesia tercinta. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Baik, selanjutnya saya akan memperkenalkan, membacakan sedikit kurikulum vitae dari Profesor Juli. Profesor Dr. Juli Soemirat, Master of Public Health, PhD. Saat ini beliau menjabat sebagai Profesor Emeritus di jurusan Teknik Lingkungan Itenas. Prof. Juli memiliki pengalaman riset lebih dari 35 tahun di bidang kesehatan lingkungan, epidemiologi, toksikologi, dan human health risk assessment. Profesor Juli memperoleh pendidikan PhD dari di bidang environmental science dari University of Oklahoma, Amerika Serikat tahun 1983, Master of Public Health di Environmental Health di University of Minnesota tahun 1971, dan gelar Medical Doctor atau dokter di Universitas Indonesia Jakarta pada tahun 1961. Kepada Profesor Juli, kami persilahkan untuk melakukan presentasinya. Terima kasih banyak.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to Dr. Prapat also. I'm assigned to be the first speaker, and Chandra will take care of my slides, right? So we can start now. Can we start now? Now, see, I'm the first speaker, and please just a minute. All right. Well, I take the word extraordinary as part of my title of my paper today. It's just because it is the best understanding I got from experiencing of suffering from this pandemic. Next slide, please. Pak Chandra, okay. Everyone might be curious why I use this extraordinary word. I have several reasons though, and I want to show you some of this. There are 5 here that I list 5. One is that this virus put the whole world into chaos because it's causing illnesses, severe illnesses to many people in a very short period. Secondly, it also put the world, in the whole world, many of us, this virus put us out of job. We lost our job. And many also have to work on a different way. We have to work from home. We are forced to work on a different manner as we used to do. It's just because this virus put all activities in the whole world into a stop, meaning that we don't have any emission, we don't have any waste effluents, etc. And therefore, all the cities are being like a scary place to live, and very silent, and because you don't find any single person on that place, which is usually very busy. And the last thing that I would mention is that the virus forces everyone to stay at home, to change your behavior, what you used to do, things that we actually maybe don't like to do, okay? And all of these reasons cannot be done by any single person in this world, however powerful, rich, clever, or anything he may be. Therefore, you may agree to me that this is extraordinary. Next slide, Pak Chandra. Next slide, please. Now, Let me then share with you some of the reasons as to why this COVID-19 is able to do all these things to us, okay? Next slide. As you know, COVID-19 used to live among the bats and wild animals. And someday, whenever it comes to contact into an intermediate host, like in this case is the pangolin, the virus will jump host. And when people come into contact with this intermediate host, it jumps again to people, to us. You know why we come into contact, why virus jump to people? It's just because we are close to this intermediate host. You know, people are hunting wildlife, trap them, take them to market, sold them as medicine, as food, and we even export these things. Next slide, Pak Chandra. These are some information about pangolins in Indonesia. You can find them on many islands in Indonesia. People eat them. We also sell them. We even export them to China, Vietnam, and Malaysia. Next, please. So we all can understand that COVID virus actually come from wild and exotic animals. And it is new to us, meaning we have never had any contact with this virus. And it is because it is a virus and it is highly infective, it's highly virulent, and it's highly pathogenic. Infective means it can easily penetrate your body and multiply in your body using your resources, okay? Viral means this virus is able to cause severe illnesses in our body. And pathogenic means it can easily cause disease. Next slide. COVID virus, as you know, is also an RNA virus. RNA is actually a template, a mold to reproduce yourself using resources available around you. And so when coronavirus penetrate our body, are in our cells, then it will readily use its RNA to replicate itself using our resources. Okay, next slide. And because it is new and because everybody is vulnerable to this virus and it is transmitted by droplet, and if you are close to people who harbor virus, then you will be infected by the virus. So we say that this virus is growing exponentially. And if you draw the curve, then you will see an exponential curve as well. Okay, next slide. So what will happen if virus penetrate your body? What kind of disease will that produce? In adults, you will find the NCP. It's a novel coronavirus pneumonia. In children, they call it multisystem inflammatory syndrome. And also they will affect your medical facilities. And lastly, it will also affect our environmental condition. Okay, next slide, Pak Chandra. On impact on medical resources occur because the whole world need that medical resources because there are many people becoming ill in a short period. Okay, and in fact, we are already short of these facilities. Next slide. You see, if there are so many people becoming sick and severely sick, they should be isolated. I mean, they should be nursed in an isolated wards. They should be perhaps in intensive care units. They need medical expertise. They need medical supplies. They need nursing, protective equipment, etc. And all those equipment cannot produce in a short period. Therefore, we are in short of them. Next slide. What disease did produce in them? What are we suffering from? I already mentioned adult is the NCP plus something. Sometimes there is inflammation in your intestine, sometimes it is your kidney, and some other times maybe your heart. Okay. In children, if you are 25 years younger than 21, you will suffer from multiple inflammatory syndrome. Let's see in the next slide. Here you can see what is an NCP, okay? Your lungs will be affected by the virus. It means there are inflammation occurring in your lungs. Since we don't have any drug of choice, so there is no real therapy for that. And lots of people will die because of it. Next slide. In children, it's really strange because children are affected more than 2 systems of their bodies are affected. Like in this case, for instance, the skin, the eyes, your joints, your heart, diarrhea because of your intestine is being affected. And they call it multiple inflammatory syndrome. Next slide. And the CDC provided a case definition for multiple inflammation syndrome. If you are 25 years and less, and you suffer from inflammation on more than 2 organs, and there is no other diagnostic that can be made. And lastly, this person has been exposed to COVID-19 for at least 4 weeks before onset of disease. Okay. Next slide. So now we can discuss something about the impact on the environment. Okay. The environment, as you see, the environment can be categorized into 2, which is the natural and the built environment. Next slide. This is an example of a built environment. Actually, it is one of the streets in Wuhan city where corona pandemic firstly originated. It is really strange because this street usually are very busy and now you cannot see any single person on the street. And that happened in a very short time period, like shorter than a month. Okay. And the strange thing is that many experts in this world try to reduce our activities just a little bit by developing what we call conventions, agreement agreed by many countries, and we don't even succeed to do that. While this virus can do that within months. Don't you think it's very extraordinary? Okay, next slide, Chandra. This is an example of a natural environment. This is actually the air environment above China during pandemic. The pollution is being reduced in a matter of months, which is very amazing because we have been trying for years and we cannot succeed. This virus succeed to do it within a matter of months. Okay, Pak Chandra. Next slide. So suffering from this pandemic certainly teach us something, okay? Maybe we don't want to suffer any more pandemic like that. That is one thing you want to do. You learn to, you actually wish to have after the pandemic is being controlled. And maybe something else you wish to have is that maybe a better living condition or a better quality of life. Okay, next slide. Future impact on health and the environment is determined by what kind of environment and determine how we behave in this world. Actually, thanks to this COVID-19, the environment, the air, the water is being improved in quality. But don't forget, we also add one dangerous pollutant, mainly the COVID-19. You add that into our environment, into our world environment, which is going to stay and live with us. You cannot eradicate that. I'm certain for 100%. And that you have to be careful about, because once we are back to work, you can expect the environment will become dirty again as usual. Plus you add one dangerous pollutant. It means you can expect that our health condition and our environment in the future will be worse than before the pandemic. Next slide. So what do we have to do if we don't want to have any more pandemic? The only thing we can do is we have to change, okay? Or else we will suffer from continual waves of pandemics. Next slide. And what do we have to change? You know, change is not easy. Change is very difficult. And so what are we, what do you wish for if you change? First, maybe you have to prevent pandemic from occurring again. Secondly, you want to keep the environment in a good quality. And lastly, you want to sustain and improve the quality of life. Next slide. Now, the question now is, how do you prevent pandemic? There is a balance occurring here in the environment, you know. So if you don't want to have any more pandemic, you have to preserve this balance, which we call the homeostatic balance. So in this world, in this environment, balance is should be prevailing. Equilibrium should be existing all the time. It is a balance between agent, host, and the environment. Agent in this case is the COVID-19. Host is us, man, and the environment, okay? So if these three elements are in balance, then there will be no pandemic. In case of COVID virus, the agent, the COVID virus, is burdening the balance. The agent is very pathogenic, infective, virulent, so it's burdening the balance. The host, on the other hand, is also burdening the balance. Why? Because we hosts are very vulnerable. Everybody in this world is vulnerable to the virus. And how about the environment? Even the environment is favoring the agent. So it's, again, burdening the balance, okay? Why? Because we are disturbing wildlife habitat. We are, in fact, welcoming coronavirus into our world. And what about the other environment, water and air? It used to be polluted all the time. As you can see, all rivers on Java are all black, meaning it's all polluted. By whom? By us. So if you don't want any epidemic to occur or no more pandemic, then you have to balance everything again. In case of agent, in case of the coronavirus, you have to find drug of choice. You have to be able to kill the virus, okay? Which we cannot do so far. And how about the host? host, we are trying to develop vaccine, so we'll not be vulnerable to the agent again. But again, vaccine development is not easy. You know, in the past, we developed vaccine like 9 years, 20 years before we succeed to develop one vaccine. So don't expect you get vaccine in a short time. How about the environment? Well, your behavior should change, of course. You should not disturb wildlife. You should not disturb their habitat. How about the other environment that we used to pollute? We have been trying to abate pollution, and we have to continue doing that. Once you do everything, means there are a lot of things to do just to prevent pandemic, everything, so that this homeostatic will be balanced, then you will not suffer any more pandemic. Okay, Panchatra. Next slide, please. And who should do that? Who should change? And what should be changed? You see thus in the homeostatic balance that we have lots of things to do. First of all, we have to change. Man should change to become humans. You know, there is a difference between man and humans. Okay? Well, these humans should be able to preserve the built and the natural environment. On the other side, humans also have to change behavior, change back to basic hygienic behavior, and change to the way we work. Okay, let's see what are those things I'm talking about. Next slide, Pachandra. This task we have to do, humans have to do, to improve everything is also extraordinary. It is difficult. I told you that change is not easy. Try to change yourself. Like you smoke today. Can you stop smoking 1 week from now? It is difficult and it is extraordinary. Okay, let's see. Next slide, Pachandra. As concerning the environment, yeah, it is actually simple. You have to make it sustainable. It's easier to say than to do, actually. Because you have the natural and you have to build the environment. Next slide. How do you sustain the built environment? Now, many countries in this world are already designing smart cities. What are smart cities? Smart cities are cities having more greens, using green energy, less private car, more mass transit, more biking, and more walking, right? Those are the smart built environment. Those are the smart built sustainable environment. Okay, next slide, Pachandra. This is also another example where cities in the other part of the world are trying to be sustainable. Next slide. As for the natural environment, we have to do 3 important things, okay? First is that you have to maintain the flow of energy within the food chain. Secondly is you have to maintain the material balance. The material balance, because material in this world is not going to disappear. Even the COVID virus cannot disappear. It will only change into another matter. Thirdly is that we have to behave friendly towards our environment. Please do not hurt, do not harm, do not even disturb the habitat of wildlife. We should be able to live with other living beings in our planet. We are not alone. This planet is not only for man. Everybody has the right to live on this planet. Next slide, Pachandra. So now we have to go back to our basic hygienic behavior, and we have to do or to learn to work differently. And what are those things? Next slide, Pachandra. If we have to change our behavior and we want to work differently, and I think I forgot one thing. We also have to decrease fertility rate. What are those? Next slide, Pachandra. These are actually the basic hygienic behavior. I just wonder, have we forgotten how to take care of ourselves? Because we have learned how to wash our hands, right? We have learned how to brush your teeth. We all have learned how to eat. We all have learned not to sneeze in front of people. But we are doing that now. Why do we change? Why do we have, well, we're not doing these things? There might be one thing though. I'm thinking of, next slide, Chandra, that we are missing water and sanitation security, because without water, without sanitation, you cannot behave hygienically. So water and sanitation is the conditio sine qua non for hygienic behavior. Why? Next slide, Pachandra. You can see in the slide that without water and sanitation, everybody already can die because of it, even without hygienic behavior. Next slide, Chandra. And why fertility rate? This is also extraordinary, you know. Many people are not willing to decrease fertility rate. Next slide, Chandra. So the goal is that we should decrease our children per women. The fertility rate, which is good for us, is 2 children per women. Why? Is to maintain the size of our world population. The size should be constant. The size should be in such a way that the environment should be able to support us living in this world, okay? So if we maintain the size of the population, we don't have to do any deforestation, and there will be no overcrowding. In fact, these 2 factors, deforestation, overcrowding, these are 2 important factors in determining and developing the pandemic, the current pandemic. As you see, many countries already are still having more children than 2, like in Niger, Afghanistan, Indonesia, of course, yeah, we have more than 2 children per woman. Next slide, Chandra. Since it is so difficult, everybody agree or everybody realize, everybody understand that lowering your fertility is not easy. SDG is providing guidelines for us. How to reduce fertility up to 2 children per woman up to the year 2100. As you can see, actually, it is no longer a problem for the European country, where they are on the average have less than 2 children per woman. Next slide. And one more thing is that we have to change our social environment, social economic environment, meaning we have to change how we work and what we do in this world. And this also is an extraordinary task. Next slide, Chandra. You know what we have to do? We have to do digital transformation. What is digital transformation? We have to do everything should be digitized. We should do that in all aspects of our life, in industry, in business, in education, in servicing infrastructure, health service, environmental management, anything. Why? Maybe. Why do we have to do this? You might ask, why? Because If you do this, the internet is the condition sine qua non. Actually, the good example is this webinar. If in the past, if you want to attend a seminar, you have to travel, spend money and time to go to Bandung to attend the seminar. Now, if you use the internet, you can stay at home. You don't have to spend any more money, just stay at home and you can join our seminar, okay? And here in the next slide, you can see, Pak Chandra, so many advantages of digital transformation. Yeah? It is a clean technology, it is efficient, it is effective, and it is cheaper also and faster to get to your result. You can go globally, you can be more transparent, and you can read by yourself what kind of advantages we have by doing digital transformation. Especially for the environment, it is a clean technology. And for the business, it is effective, it is cheap, and it is global. That's what all we want to have. And it is transparent. The last slide, please, Pak Chandra. So if we can achieve all those changes, you can expect that we will be more healthy and we can have a better working condition. You can work from home and maybe on flexible hours. Thank you. That's all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Professor Juli. It's a very interesting presentation. I already have some questions and important notes here on my book and my paper, but I will keep my question and this note for later because now it's time for us to also listen to the other presentation from the second speaker. So I will now welcome Dr. Prapat. But before you start your presentation, Dr. Prapat, I will just read some of your CV. So Dr. Prapat Pongkiatkul is currently an associate professor at the Environmental Engineering Department of KMUTT University of Technology, Thonburi, or KMUTT, Thailand. He obtained his PhD and master degree from the Environmental Technology and Management, the Asian Institute of Technology, AIT, Bangkok. His Bachelor of Engineering degree was obtained from KMUTT. He has been actively serving as trainer for many air quality related trainings for government and private sectors, as well as conducting consultancy services. His main expertise is on air pollution source identification, indoor air quality or IAQ, air pollution control devices, and air pollution. He published his works on many highly recognized international journals and book publishers. Dedicated to his professional career, he is now serving as the chairman of Thailand Indoor Air Quality Association. So, Dr. Prapat, if you're ready, please, the screen is yours. Hello, Dr. Prapat, are you there? I can see you there. Can you hear us?
Sorry, hello?
Yes, we can hear you well now.
Okay, so sorry, my microphone is maybe not working. Yes.
I see.
Thank you so much for your nice, very nice introduction.
That's fine. Okay, screen is yours, Dr. Prapat.
Okay, let me try to share my screen. Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Prapat, just a minute. Technical problem. Yeah. My name is Prapat, 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 I'm an assistant professor from Kelompok University of Technology, Thailand, KMUTT here. And I'm also the president of the Indoor Air Quality Association. So today, I'm going to give you some information that maybe you heard something from Professor Juli in the morning already. But today, I'm going to talk about how do mobility and air pollution can be changed during the COVID lockdown. As you know that we have very big problems on the COVID disease, and we think that our economy may be reduced a lot. So how much effects to the air pollution in Bangkok? I just finished this analysis maybe last week only. So this is the information that I just analyzed. I think if any of you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So this is the picture of Bangkok during normal operations before COVID-19. So this is a picture of Bangkok, a lot of air pollution. And our air pollution that we are facing is the PM2.5 and also ozone. Both of these pollutants are normally exceed the national ambient air quality standard. And then this is my picture that I took in my university. This is the normal PM2.5 levels in my university. Actually, you can see a small bridge here, but someday the PM2.5 can be reached around 116 microgram per cubic meters, and I lost the bridge already because there are a lot of PM2.5. So this is the problem, the normal problem in Bangkok. This is the level of PM2.5 in Bangkok's metropolitan regions. You can see that we have the data for more than 8 years. And these 8 years, you can see is always higher than the standard, the national standard a lot, especially during the January, February, and also March. Why? This is our winter season. So we have this kind of problem for very long time, more than 10 years for sure. And this is the data of the beginning of this year. This is the 1st of January, it's a holiday, our New Year holiday. The level of PM2.5 is very low. But after the weekend, after the normal operation is coming, the level of PM2.5 can be reached around nearly 100 microgram per cubic meters. So the whole Bangkok, the red one is this is the picture from Google. The level of the traffic is very high. The level of PM2.5 is also high. This is the normal operation that we are facing every day. So today, I'm going to give you my analysis on the level of PM2.5 after we have got the COVID-19 lockdown, how much it affects. Today, I'm not going to show you just only the monitoring data, but this is the first time in our field, in our engineering field, that I'm trying to use the big data from many companies and try to show you the results. So let's go step by step. The first one, this is the level of PM2.5. You can see that the level of PM2.5 around 6 a.m. 7 a.m. is pretty high during the rush hour. And this is the evening rush hour in Bangkok. Around 7, 8, and 9 p.m. is the level of PM2.5 is pretty high. And then why is high during the winter season? I think some of you may heard already that in many countries, not only Thailand, but also Korea, Japan, and other countries, China, yes, we have the same problems on the high pressure that always bring the cold air to us during the winter. but the cold weather also block the dispersion of the air, so the air cannot move. You can see this kind of picture. This is the picture that I got it from internet. You can see that the particulate matters or the air pollution over the whole city is blocked by the high pressure, So every winter we have the problem on the high PM 2.5 and also ozone. So what is the source of the PM 2.5 in Bangkok metropolitan region? Actually, my team and also Professor Kim On from AAT, we are trying to do the research on the source apportionment for a long time, more than 10 years. And we found that the major source of PM 2.5 in Bangkok is the traffic, around 35 to 50%. And then next one is the open burning, the rice store burning. After they harvest, they burn the rice store. That is account around 20 to 40%. And then the chemical reaction, natural chemical reactions in the air. And the last one is the industry. These are the source, the major source of the PM 2.5 in Bangkok. Like this one, this is the black smoke from the bus. That is a traffic emission. This is the open burning that in the area near Bangkok, that is account around 40%. This is the picture of the industry that release a lot of smoke. Yeah. So if we would like to reduce the PM 2.5, we have to think about the major source like the traffic emission. That is the major source of PM 2.5. And then this traffic emission is very important. So right now I'm going to show you the data that I collect from Google. I collect from the Apple, yes, the big company, and also TomTom. So this provider, they have a very big database. This kind of data, they collect it from our mobile phone. They collect the location, they collect the speed. So we can see that how much mobility in Bangkok. So this is the data that I got it from the big data, the big database from the large company like Apple, Google, and TomTom. So before we go to the traffic congestion after the COVID, let's see the last year first. The last year traffic in Bangkok. Let's see, we are the 11th rank of the world. We are the 11th rank of the world as compared to other cities. So in last year, 2019, our traffic situation is quite bad. Yes, the level of congestion is around 53%. What is 53%? 53% is the average time that you lost. For example, you plan to go to somewhere, to some place. Maybe normally you took around one hour. So the traffic in Bangkok, you have to take longer time, 53% multiplied by 1 hour. So that is the problem. We lost a lot of time because of the traffic congestion. This is the data that I collected from TomTom. This is the morning rush hour. That is the congestion level is around 79%, and the evening rush hour is 99% in Bangkok. So the traffic condition, especially on the Friday evening, sometimes you took longer time, more than 100 times, 100%, more than 1 times. That you have to lose the time because of the traffic congestion. Yes. So this is the problem in Bangkok. We lost a lot of time. And normally the problem always occur on the Friday evening, That is 116%. This is the data that I correct from the Office of the Transport and the Traffic Policy and Planning, Ministry of Transport. You can see that I'm not sure, maybe it's similar to other cities as well. Our Thai people do not use the mass transit too much. We use our own car. 56% of people in Bangkok use their own car. That is 9.5 million trips per day. Every day we have 17 million trips per day. You think about when you go for work, it's one trip, and go back to your home, it's another trip. One people, two trips. So every day in Bangkok, we have totally 17 trips per day. But among these 17 trips per day, people use their own car. They use a bus, 35%. They use the mass transit system, that is the subway and SkyTrain, around 4%. But most of people still use 56% of their own car. And the traffic congestion, the speed is pretty low, especially in the center of Bangkok, 12 kilometers per hour. And on the Friday evening, the speed may be reduced a lot, maybe less than 10 kilometers per hour. So this is a problem that we are facing for almost 10 years. The traffic congestion, the emission, the air pollution, the PM 2.5. But after COVID-19, as you know, every country tried to stop the spreading of the COVID-19. So we try to lock down the country, try to lock down the city. Thailand also, we are trying to lock down our countries. We are not allowed people to go across the province. So every province is locked down. So how much it change? So this is the data that I got it from Google. First one. Let's see one by one. This is the retail and recreation. You can see that the department store, the small shop, people, starting from the February until around beginning of May, you can see the reduction a lot. After March, people do not go for shopping. People do not. This is 48% is the level around 2nd of May. Yes. The minimum is around 50%. So people do not go anywhere. Then let's see, parking reduced a lot also. People do not go for park their own car anymore. Yes. Then workplace. So right now in Bangkok, Thailand, we are trying to promote work from home. You can see the reduction of the workplace is around maximum is around 50%. Yes. Another one, the pharmacy. The pharmacy is a little bit high at the beginning because everyone goes to buy their own mask. Yes, around maybe February, and then they keep reduce. The minimum around 25%. Yes. The mass transit in Thailand is reduced around 60%. And finally, people keep staying at home is plus 15%. People in Bangkok, especially in the Bangkok cities, in the inner Bangkok city, we are trying to stay at home. So when we are trying to stay at home, this is the data that I got it from Apple. Yes, from Apple Maps. So the whole Bangkok, similar to the picture from Professor Juli in the morning, that similar to Wuhan, that the whole city of Bangkok, the very less the traffic. This is the data, the traffic data in Bangkok. You can see that the yellow one is walking, the gray one is the driving. The level of driving is reduced around maximum before 60%, and up to around 8th of May, around it keep increase to 41%. People do not walk, people do not drive. We are trying to stay at home. Yes. And this is the current data that I have analyzed at the beginning of this month. You can see, I'm not sure it's not quite clear. This is you can see the blue dash line. That is the last year data. The red line is the current data. You can see that it's reduced a lot. If anyone interested, you can go to the website that I prepare for you here at the bottom of the slides. You can see, you can check your own data in your cities. So this is the data of the Bangkok traffic during the COVID lockdown. You can see that the mobility changed a lot. You can see that the traffic level it changed a lot as well. So as we compare with the number of the COVID-19 case, this is the beginning of the January in Thailand. We don't have too much COVID-19 case. We got too high during March, and then the government announced that the Bangkok should be locked down since 26th of March 2020. Yes, and after the level of the patient is reduced and reduced. Right now, at the beginning of the May, we are partially locked down, and finally, yesterday we got an announcement that right now we have a 0 case and 0 death. We are lucky, yes. So you can see that the level of COVID-19 case is keep increase, and right now it's become better and better, and the level of the traffic it keep reduced during the lockdown, but it keep increase after the government released the law. Yes, it increased a little bit. I think maybe this week maybe the level of the traffic in Bangkok may be a little bit higher. So how about PM2.5? When the traffic is reduced already, what is the level of PM2.5? This is some of data that I have collected. This is at the 1st of February until around 9th of May. So sorry, this is the name of the station in Thailand. This is the standard level. So you can see that the PM2.5 is swing, yes, is fluctuate. But as we compare with our previous 8 years ago, the level of PM2.5 is reduced around 60%. So this is the effect that we can see clearly, that this is the effect of the traffic emission. You can see the black one. This is the beginning of the month that the traffic condition is still high, but because of the meteorology, because of the high pressure, the PM2.5 level is still high, but it keeps reduced and reduced as we compare with others. So we compare the level of PM2.5 and the dashed green line. This one is the number of the traffic levels, and then you can see that someday, only in some day, we have a peak of the PM2.5. This one is the effect of the meteorology as well. The wind is stagnant. Yeah, the air is stagnant, and the PM2.5 is high in a few days in Bangkok. So right now, this is the data that I got it from the big database. And right now you have to think about, we have to think about the traffic emission now. This one is the case study for everyone, every city in the world, that we can control the emission, we can control the air pollution. The air pollution is caused by people, it's caused by us. Why don't we just think about try to do something? I think our problem on the COVID-19, I believe that we will got a better, I think the situation of COVID-19 would become better soon, yes. But air pollution still the big environmental problem that we are facing every day. Yes. So we have to think about that, why we don't control the emission from the car, from the bus, from the mobile source. Because the mobile source are the major source that contributing the air pollution, especially in the urban area. Yes. And the COVID-19 lockdown show you that the emission can be reduced. If we have a good strategy, if we think about a good strategy, for example, this is a good strategy that we are trying in Bangkok. Why don't we work from home for some time? Because we are going to have a new normal. Right now we have technology. Right now we have a meeting through the internet. We are seeing the conference through the YouTube. Why don't we just think about reduce the traffic emission by using the technology, work from home, just maybe just adjust the working hour for some days. That is the issue that I would like to point. So in Bangkok, we are trying to promote the better emission standard, better fuel standard, and also the emission control, the low emission zone. But everything may not be success if everyone do not agree with this. So today, I just would like to show you some information that I just finished analysis last week. Yes, thank you so much for your attention. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the presentation, Professor Juli and Dr. Prapat Pongkiat. And in our group chat, we have several questions here. So the first two questions are directed to Prof. Juli. The first one is from Ibu Farhada Pas from Munstrat Manado. Her question is that will this pandemic will never end, because as like Professor Juli has explained that Professor Juli is 100% sure that the vaccines will not be discovered in a short period. So from now, maybe we have to create the homeostasis between the agent, host, and environment. And Ibu Farha thinks that this needs to be socialized so the people can prepare themselves to adapt, because until now, people are waiting for this pandemic to end. And so they still expecting that the old normal will resume again some time after this and have not adapt for the new normal. Should I stop with one questions and reply, or should I ask the other questions, Prof. Juli?
I think it's best that I answer one by one.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a good idea.
Okay.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. I think I agree to what who is
Farha.
it?
Farha, Ibu.
Farhan, yeah.
Farha, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much for your question. And you are right. It's very difficult to get vaccine actually, especially for virus. And so we have to educate everybody in this world. And I was hoping that after this webinar, maybe we can work together, Itenas, with people throughout Indonesia, how to educate our population, considering also the low educational experience they had in our country. It might not be easy, but we still have to start. Do I answer your question? Is there anything else, Budia?
Maybe Ibu Farha, do you think your questions already answered? Maybe you can give some comments if you're still there.
Oh, the sign of the pandemic. Okay, when will it stop? Is that it? Well, if the number of cases start to go down until very low, then we might say it is going to stop. But I'm not sure it will stop. We should first test all the people, how are the title of the antibodies in your bloodstream, okay? If you don't have any antibody in your bloodstream, and you still say, the pandemic is over, and then it's not true. But because you are still vulnerable to the virus is still in our environment, and you don't have any antibody, it means you are not vaccinated, and you don't have natural antibodies, it means you are still vulnerable. It means the pandemic can still occur as a second or a third wave. That's the danger of having this virus now in this world. So after the cases are going down to a very low level, we still have to test the people, the antibody that is existing in the bloodstream of our population. You have to know which person can have vaccination, which person should be isolated. You still have to do it. You still have a lot of work to do. Because at this time, we even do not know which person harbors disease. Sometimes you think he is or she is very healthy, while he or she is a carrier of a disease. So you really have to test them, and we don't have enough materials to do that. That's the most difficult thing we face in Indonesia, I think.
Can I just add something, Ibu Juli? I mean, I noticed also important concern from Ibu Farfa's question, which is, it seems that the society thinks we're nearly to the end of this pandemic, but actually it's maybe far beyond that. So Ibu Farha mentioned that we need to do more about educating people, disseminate information. So I think that's also important question. If you have any comments on that, Ibu Juli, maybe.
Yeah, I think everybody thinks that we are at the end of the pandemic, but it is not true. You know, everybody already go traveling, open their business. But I think you have to still be careful about it, because the virus is still here and we are still vulnerable. Part of our population, at least, are vulnerable, especially the children.
I think let's answer Ibu's question, yeah. Budia, continue with the next one, maybe.
Thank you, Pak Iwan. So the second question is from Valerie Artirza from Teknik Lingkungan Itenas, and she's asked if there's any possible possibility that our researcher can develop vaccines from the bat, because Ibu Valerie thinks that they are strong enough for this virus. And what is the opinion of Prof. Juli?
What is the question? Sorry.
She's asking for Professor Juli's opinion about the possibility of developing vaccines from the bats.
Possibility of developing vaccine? Is that the question?
Yes, from bats.
From bats.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think so, because there are so many viruses in bats, many viruses in pangolins, and this COVID-19 is a special virus, and it already mutates in many ways. The difficulty with virus is it's easily to go on mutation. And so what kind of, which virus do you want to develop into vaccine? You still have to study that. You know, the virus is mutating very easily. And so which virus are going to use it to develop the vaccine? I think expert has to do that. Not everybody can do it. Even to identify virus, and you have to have a very clean laboratory to work with virus. And Indonesia, maybe in Bandung we only have one, which is the Bio Farma. They can work with virus. All laboratory is not able to. In Jakarta, maybe the Eijkman Institute. So you can see there are so many shortcomings in our country. We might not be able to develop our own vaccine. We have to rely on others for this, I think. Does it answer your question?
Hopefully so, Ibu, I think. Maybe we can go to the next one, Budia. I think there's a question for Mr. Prapat, Dr. Prapat.
Yes, there's a question for Dr. Prapat from Mr. DJ Clario. He asked that please explain to us more in detail the characteristics of urban mobility in Bangkok, the mode of preferences, and the Bangkok government strategy to address the urban mobility issues. In his opinion, that the data only shows the unique transportation characteristics since the pandemic issues arises. Thank you.
Yes, actually, our government, they try to not allow people to cross the province. That is the beginning. And then we have, we call curfew, that people people cannot go out from home starting from 10 p.m. until 4 a.m. Yes, that is our announcement from the government. And then to control the mobility in Bangkok during the COVID lockdown, this one, they do not allow to open the shop, to open the department store. And then finally, after 1 month, the number of the COVID-19 case reduced to 0 right now, until now, yes. And then no more death anymore. With this lockdown, it's possible to control the spreading of the COVID-19 in Thailand already. But the mobility changed a lot. And right now, after the situation of the COVID-19 is become better, so the government just decided yesterday, that to decide to open the department store, to open the public place. Yes, and then I'm not sure that how much mobility will be changed and how much the air pollution will be changed, but we hope that we still can control the COVID-19 case in Thailand also. Yes.
So maybe I will ask the other questions later, because Mr. DJ Clerio also have some comments that he's asking that are we curious also for the prediction of the mode preference for the future in the new normal conditions after the pandemic has been ended? And the question not only want to discuss about the past and present condition, but also the future conditions. Since the new normal is a mystery for him and also for, I think, for most of us, and it's interesting to predict and discuss the scenario for future conditions.
It's very difficult to predict, yes. But in Bangkok, I think for myself, if I predict, I think it might be the Bangkok traffic would become the same as before for sure. But I think that the number of COVID cases in Thailand still can be controlled, because we are not allowed people from other country to come into Thailand until the end of June. Yes, I think the prediction may be very difficult, but I think that the level of the traffic would become the same sooner. Yes, because we don't have any new policy about the traffic control anymore. Yes, we're still looking forward from the government as well, but the traffic of Bangkok may be still the same sooner.
Just a quick comments and to what Dr. Prapat has said, and also I have a general question to both of you and Ibu Juli, Professor Juli, because I think your presentation, Professor Juli, and your presentation is quite related. Juli, at the end of her presentation, suggests us some ways of how we should change our life, our activity, and with this. We need to go to a more basic, what do you call it, way of life, and also emphasize by Dr. Prapat that that transportation has a major role in the pollution of the environment. So I'm just wondering, to your opinion, to both of your opinions, how confident you two in what do you call it, in going forward from here, in terms of how confident you are with the response from the society, from the government, maybe to Ibu Juli, how confident you are with the how the society respond to this pandemic in the near future, maybe in the 6 months or 1 year, and also to Dr. Prapat, how confident you are with the government, the society, to go forward from here. I mean, also like asking the prediction of the future, the near future. Are we ready for this to change to a better way of life? Or maybe you can give some general comments.
Who should start? Should I start first or Dr.
Maybe
Prapat?
You can start, Ibu Juli, you can start.
Okay, thank you, Iwan. Well, I'm not very optimistic because we have lots of shortcomings. And I think if we want to do something, we have to be realistic, right? If we have so many shortcomings, it's not going to stop the pandemic in a short while, because we have so many shortcomings. And the people in Indonesia is not very disciplined as compared to like in Thailand or like in China. You can see even today, people in Bogor, next to Jakarta, doing things that they are not just have to do, they cannot do. And people in the city should actually understand where they have to keep distancing, and yet they are not doing it. So, while we are still in a pandemic, What happened if we say that the pandemic is already over? And that's why we have to work together, I think, throughout Indonesia to educate the people. That's very important. But we have to be very slowly going on, but you have to start. Yeah, you have to somewhat be patient with our society. And hopefully somebody will really develop a vaccine for us.
Thank you, Ibu Juli. Dr. Prapat, please, your opinion.
Yes, my opinion is, I think I'm very confident that right now, after the COVID situation, the government and the public science that I think we agree together to move on the new normal that we are talking about. And then people understand the government that why they have to do something like this, like that. But only some people that still not accept about the policy, some policy. But most of people in Thailand, not only in Bangkok, agree that we have to stop the COVID, and we are very concerned about the situation. So in Thailand, we are very we are very concerned about the adaptations that we may have to adapt something. But in Thailand, we still have some problem like university like us, the internet access for some students is still have big issues that the government have to think about the more policy about the adaptation in the near futures. And then in terms of the air pollution, the government have a very strong direction already to reduce the PM2.5 for around 20 to 30% within 5 years. I think for myself, I'm very confident that we can reduce both COVID situations and also the air pollution in Bangkok. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Prapat. I still have many questions and discussion to ask you too, but I think as a moderator, I need to talk less, so I will let Ibu Dia to maybe read other questions.
Yes.
Thank you, Pak Iwan. So the next question is from Ibu Susiana Nugraha. Ibu Susiana Nugraha would like to express her gratitude that all the speakers for the valuable sharing of knowledge. And as we noticed that the pandemic brings significant impact in our physical environment, in another hand, we have another biological killer hazard, namely COVID-19. And she's pretty sure that we will have bigger challenges after this pandemic, that people will back to work, industries will return to their businesses, as well as pollutants will return. And more people will prefer to use their private transportations to avoid virus transmissions. So Ibu Susiana wants to hear the perspectives of Ibu Juli, Professor Juli, and Dr. Prapat on these issues. And what is your suggestions to the people to keep our environment in good conditions even after COVID-19? Thank you.
Well, as I said before, we have to change, Bu Susiana, we have to change a lot. And that change is not easy. Yes, if you ask the government, maybe it's easy to make undang-undang or make many aturan, etc. But if you ask the people, will they really change? Now, how far and how fast will they change? Like I asked earlier, if you smoke today, can you not smoke tomorrow or the day after tomorrow or 1 week after that? Maybe you can stop for 1 day, but you might not be able to stop for a week, because it's not easy to change. Changing your attitude, changing what you used to do. As I said, therefore, this virus is extraordinary because it changes everybody in this world. So I'm not very, if you ask about the government, maybe yes. But if you talk about the population itself, I'm not sure that within 5 years, we will be getting better.
Maybe just a comment to or a question to Dr. Prapat. The same question, if it is applied in Thailand, Dr. Prapat. Do you think there is a what to call it, a tendency that maybe after the pandemic, people will prefer to use their private transportation instead of public transportation because they are worried about the virus? Or any comments on that maybe?
Yes, I think in Thailand, maybe most of people may use their own car more. And right now, I'm not sure it's happened in Indonesia or not, but most of the people in Bangkok order the food through Grab to get, and then our lifestyle changed a lot. And if we're talking about the environmental impacts, for sure that I have ever analyzed the data that the people who live in rural area do not have any effects on the COVID lockdown. The amount of waste, the air pollution, everything is almost the same. Only the urban city, only the urban area only. Yes. So if we're talking about how much it would be changed in the future after the COVID-19, I think in the environmental impacts, I think maybe it's quite, I think it may be quite the same, but to encourage the people to think more about the environment, I think we have to do right now, because people are concerning about the COVID. And if we integrate together between COVID and environmental impact together, I think it would be a good strategy to adapt people, to let the people to change the behavior of people. But right now in Bangkok, I can say that environmental and COVID is different issue. People in Thailand not think about air pollution anymore. They just talking about COVID. Yes. So not talk about the waste that is maybe increased, not talking about the plastic waste anymore. We trying to collect to reduce the waste, the plastic waste for almost a year, and everything end after the COVID. Yes. If we integrate everything together, it would become better. And I think we have to think longer, not just only the end of COVID-19. So we have to think about the preparation. If we have something like this, how much our country can deal with this kind of problem. That is my opinion. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Prapat. Mangga Ibu Dia.
Thank you, Pak Iwan. So the next questions comes from the our YouTube channel.
Viewers.
And is question from Arif Rahman for Prof. Juli. He's asking if the PSBB or the high-scale public social limitations for social distancing rule extraordinary enough as a management to reduce the COVID-19 in Indonesia, because like Prof. Juli have mentioned, Pak Arif Rahman also have seen a lack of discipline in the public recently. I also asked another question about Prof. Juli's opinion on herd immunity, because Sweden is having the policy about the herd immunity, but can Professor Juli explain rather why it can become an extraordinary management of the COVID-19 exposure or not?
Okay, thank you, Budia. I think there is a whole misunderstanding in this world. people are talking about herd immunity as a natural immunity, and it is not the case. Now, if you want to develop herd immunity among the population, meaning 80% of the population should be immune towards this COVID-19. It's not natural. You should do artificial vaccination. Like we have done in the past, we have been vaccinating our population in the world against variola, if you remember. We don't have the disease that anymore because we have been vaccinating everybody for about more than 30 years. If you know about it, variola can be eradicated. Why? Because the only host for that virus is man. Wild animals do not harbor the virus. So if everybody in this world are being vaccinated, everybody is immune against the virus, then the virus will be eradicated. But in this case, COVID-19 can be found anywhere among the wildlife. So you can perhaps manage herd immunity among the people, but how about the wild animals? The wild animals still harboring the virus. So it's not easy. You got herd immunity, yes, but how about the bats? How about the pangolins? How about the other wild animals? How do you develop immunities among them? How can you manage them? So that's very difficult. If you have a virus like that, whereby the host is among the wild animals, you really cannot eradicate that. And please don't think that herd immunity is a natural immunity. Herd immunity should be attained by vaccination. I think that's all I have to say.
Ibu Juli, I think also the first part of the question was, is the PSBB or the large-scale social distancing is extraordinary enough to manage this COVID-19 pandemic?
Yes, because it's transmitted through droplets, meaning if you are distancing, if you are not close enough to that person, then you will not have that virus. Yes, it is just to prevent transmission.
But the problem is how we do it, Ibu, yeah? That we don't do it well. I mean, like you said, in Bogor or also I think also in Bandung, Ibu, I have to go to the chemist yesterday, and people are so busy in the street and also in the shops, in the market, still like normal, especially now we're getting closer to the festive Eid day in Indonesia. It's unbelievable. People are just packing the markets. So.
Yes, that's unbelievable, Iwan. Well, we are in a pandemic, which is very severe illness. Yeah, they don't really care about it. That's really strange. You don't care about your health. You don't care about your own life.
Yeah, Ibu. I do care, Ibu. We stay at home now like nearly 2 months, Ibu. But when we see the news, we go, I mean, see how people are doing. It's sometimes frustrating to see what's going on.
Yeah, me too. Well, I think we have to be very patient with the Indonesian society. And they need lots of education. Maybe health education should also go into the curriculum. Everybody should know about health, you know. Otherwise, they don't really care about it.
Mangga, Ibu Dia.
Okay, there's another question for Prof. Juli. from Hamasah Al-Madani from the YouTube chat. The question is it possible this virus become waterborne and infect our water system?
Yes, we already find virus in water. We already find virus in the digestive tract. It will go certainly into the waterways. And so we really do not know what will happen in the future because our digestive tract are already inflamed right now, especially among children. And just yesterday, I heard that some children in America are going into shock syndrome, which is very, very severe. Children below 5 years old. And as you see, we think Ramadan is more important than our health. I really don't know. I cannot say anything about it.
It's getting me more worried, Ibu Juli. I mean, the more information we know about the situation, I think we should be worried more and more, is it?
Yes, that's true. Even actually, this time of a pandemic is really dangerous. And yet people don't feel the danger.
Yeah, because now I'm also, noticed from the news that even for starting next week, of the offices, they start to open, especially the BUMN, what is BUMN? The, what do you call it? The public offices, especially for workers under 45 years of age, they will have to work. So it seems like, yeah, we don't really see this as a big issue anymore.
You know, in this world, people are asking, which is more important? Is it your work? Is it your money? Or is it your health? If you lose somebody, for instance, your child, your parents, your siblings are dying from COVID, how do you feel? How much do you, how much does it cost for you? Maybe then you will ask, but as you can see, the whole world is now opening up, lockdown. I think everybody is risking about health. So I can see what they are trying to do. That is what they say, natural immunity. So they will risk these people of us to come into contact with the virus and develop natural immunity. So hopefully, I hope that we'll develop immunity instead of dying. Right?
Yeah. So, but we're not sure, Ibu, yeah?
So I think we just have to think about ourselves. I personally do not want to go out on that. I mean, everybody is going to die, but how are we going to die? It's just a question. Are you ignorant? Do you want to ignore the situation or not?
Yeah, thank you, Ibu. Mangga, Bu Dia.
Thank you, Pak Iwan. So there's a question to Dr. Prapat from Dr. Didin. Dr. Didin asked that, Dr. Prapat, can you suggest on measures to tackle other trace gases? Do they have similar contributing factors as PM 2.5? And can you comment on the importance to have a good systemic monitoring stations in a big city like Bangkok for policy making process? Many thanks.
Thank you so much. Actually, in Bangkok, we have a lot of monitoring stations for PM 2.5. And then because of the concerns of the people can push the government to invest on the PM 2.5 monitorings. So I think our our success story, it should be the how much public can understand the air pollution. So when the public understand the air pollution more, so they can push the government to invest in some things. And right now in Bangkok, the government invests a lot on the source apportionment study, on the policy study, how much it affects, how much it can reduce PM 2.5. So we starting from the public concern, and the public can push the government to do something. Yes, and for the study that Dr. Didin mentioned, I think in Thailand some studies still keep going, and some studies are still under planning. So we are trying to do the source apportionment as well, and try to do the test gas analysis in some study, and I'm quite not sure about the details. But I can send you more information about the study on that when it finished. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Prapat. And there's also another question from Ibu Farha to Dr. Prapat. Regarding Dr. Prapat's presentation that in Thailand, there are huge reductions in many areas, the transport and etc. That seems like Thailand is going to adapt to the new normal faster than Indonesia. Based on that, what part of Thailand people paradigm that should be adopted by Indonesians, including the environmental concerns?
I think first of thing, our experience, I think we starting from public, as I mentioned. If the public concern, if the public have their knowledge, so when they have knowledge, they will change their behavior. When they change their behavior, they have the concerns. When they have concern, they can push the government to do something, to push more budget from the government to save the environment. So the public would be the beginning of everything. Yes, that is our success practice. Yes, in Bangkok. Yes.
Okay, I think Budia, we also need to now open the question to the audience in the room. So in case there is, I think already some people want to ask from the Zoom room. So please, anyone, you can raise your hands. Let me see if I can see if you raise your hand.
Dr. Didin, do you want to raise your hand?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, moderator. So just would like to ask my curiosity about the current issue that this COVID-19 virus is included as airborne, whether it can be attached to particulate matters. So my question is subjective to both Professor Juli Soemirat as well as Dr. Prapat Pongkiatkul. Thank you.
May I first do it? Okay, Pak Didin. I just heard it yesterday from a professor in China that this COVID virus is mutating, and so the transmission is no longer droplet. It is person-to-person transmission, and who knows, someday it will become an airborne transmission. And certainly, because virus is also a particulate, they might be attached to particles as well.
Thank you so much, Prof. Juli.
Okay, let me add from Professor Juli that right now in Bangkok, Thailand, we just opened the department store, and we opened many shops that under the built environment, under the indoor air pollution. So in Thailand, we are very concerned about the spacing of the COVID-19 in terms of the airborne. because in the study of the WHO, they show that in some setting, in some condition, the COVID-19 virus can stay in the air in the longer period. So within this one, in Thailand, everyone in Bangkok, we wear the mask. More than 98% of people in Bangkok, we wear a mask. And then I just give a suggestion through my association that the fresh air ventilation is mean that the more ventilation in the public place is very necessary to reduce the COVID-19 airborne, and also to reduce the risk of the accumulation of the air pollution and also the COVID-19 as well. So I think as we talk a lot about the new normal, so many operations in the public place in Thailand, we are changing a lot, like the restaurant, you are not allowed to eat dinner together, like 4 people is not possible. You have to sit maybe 1 or 2 people in one desk and separately. So this one would be a good practice to reduce the COVID-19 spacing. Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So
Maybe
we still have
audience?
time. Yes. Does anyone want to raise their hands?
Iwan, Budia.
Yes, Pak Chandra, please.
Yes, Chandra from control room. Just question to Dr. Prapat. You mentioned about the waste in your presentation just a little. I'm just curious about the medical waste management in Thailand. Do they manage the waste using such as incinerator or something like that? And if any, what do you think about the impact to the air pollution and something like that? Thanks.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you so much for your questions. Actually, all the medical waste in Thailand, we have a very good care on that. So all of the medical waste, especially the COVID waste, we are going 100% going to the incinerators in Thailand. And right now, based on our data, we found that our medical infected waste, it increased 4.4%. And it's around 2.85 kilogram per bed of the patient is generated per day. Around almost 3 kilograms per bed per patient per day. Yes. So in terms of air pollution, due to we have a good facility on the incineration already. So I think the spreading of the COVID due to the waste, medical waste especially, it would be not a big issue. I think right now we have a big problem on more plastic waste in the municipal waste management. This is a more big issue in Bangkok. Yes.
Chandra?
Yes, enough. Yeah, it's very interesting to talk also about the plastic issue related with the limitation of activities. And we just heard, I got the data from newspaper that the plastic waste generation in Bangkok increased significantly due to the something like lockdown activities, yeah, where the people stay at home and just order the food from the store. That's the issue for the plastic waste. Thanks, Dr. Prapat.
Very welcome.
So any more questions or comments, please raise your hands. We still have time here.
Maybe while waiting, Budia, I have another important thing that I want to ask maybe to Ibu Juli and also to Dr. Prapat about. I think both of you mentioned about the opportunity for us to work from home or to have the Ibu Juli say it in a term digital transformation. So, I mean, is it really going to work for all of us? Because, I mean, considering us in the Indonesia or also in the Thailand, maybe because people still want to have a contact. I mean, want to gather and then want to have a very intense meeting. I mean, person to person in person, not through the online devices. So is it really going to work if we continue like this work from home or further the digital transformation, Ibu Juli and Dr. Prapat?
Actually,
please, you first.
Yeah. Okay. So for the digital transformation and also the work from home situation, I think in Thailand we still keep like this until the end of this year. This is because this can show us very clear that when we do something like this, we can control the virus. But for sure that we have to maybe the number of people who work from home may be reduced as compared during the lockdown. But every private sector and also every government sector, we are really agree that we still have the work from home for some time, maybe 1 or 2 days a week. Yes, but for sure that some activity is not possible to work from home. That's why we may just assign for some people or some job that it's possible to work from home. Maybe let they work from home for maybe a few days a week to reduce the traffic condition as well and to reduce the risk of the COVID-19 spacing as well. Yes.
Yes, that's right, Dr. Prapat. Not every kind of work can be done from home. Yes? But for Indonesia, I'm very optimistic that it will be good for us. Especially Indonesia consists of many islands where communication is so difficult. Like now in this web seminar, there are people from Aceh, people from Papua can talk with us here in the cloud. So if we digitize, if we transform digitally, then maybe I am hoping that even infrastructure, health services can be done long distantly. And it would be perhaps better. And I was hoping that there will be no more difference between the remote area and Jakarta, for instance, in the field of health, if we work it differently. Because today, many people don't even have health service in Papua. But if you have just a computer, then they can ask people in Jawa very easily. That is one hopeful thing I have for the future.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Ibu Juli, Dr. Prapat. Because actually, I also enjoy staying home more because we can be with our family more and while still doing our job. But for some works, like you said, it's not as effective as if we meet in person. So yeah, I think we have to make the balance in the future how to digitalize our work and at the same time we can do our work efficiently. But is it any possibility as well? I mean, related to one of your points as well, Ibu Juli, about that to have a better world, to have a better society, we need to have less children. will working from home doing the other way? Because maybe people when they start working from home, they will start making more children. Just ideas.
Yes, Ivan, you can do it.
Not me, Ibu.
But, you know, in the medical field or in the health field, we also develop technologies. So we have technology enough, really, to reduce your fertility. I don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Sure.
There's one question from Ms. Baik. She said she's thanking for both speakers for the interesting presentation, and she has a question for Dr. Prapat. How is the environmental education in Thailand, and if there's a talk about zoonosis or virus caused by the environmental conditions?
Actually, I can say that our education to the public, not just only the student, to the public, I think the Department of Health belong to the Ministry of Health. They have a good, maybe just like they have a good education through the mass media. Yes, like the television, like the just Facebook and also social media. So I think the most effective one is the from the YouTube and also the televisions that people can access to that kind of media very fast, and they educate. When they educate, when people understand, so they are ready to adapt. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Prapat. And Ms. Baik also have another question to Prof. Juli. What we can do as the youth in Indonesia to make the society aware to the environmental issues?
Well, we already started several years ago, put environmental science or environment science into their curriculum. I think Bandung, the big cities are already having curriculum about the environment.
Thank you, Prof. Juli.
But I think I think we should also add health science, environment and health, not only the environment, okay?
Thank you, Prof. Juli. So I noticed from all of these discussions that while most of the efforts the world to fight or maybe to finally adapt to the COVID-19, in terms of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, some of the countries that already made efforts toward the Sustainable Development Goals may have an advantage, but some of the countries that are still struggling, I think in this case, like Indonesia, I think we are facing like in the Sustainable Development point, goal number 4 of the quality educations, because this time from school or working from home is maybe taking some effort. From what I know in Japan, they already try to develop a virtual reality for remote schooling. But in here, I still have not heard any news about it. And maybe one thing that why Indonesian people is not so concerned or very, very relaxed toward this COVID-19 is maybe because we have a high inequality issue. So maybe if people cannot don't know what to eat or what to from day to day, that's what they care the most, and they don't worry about the bigger whole thing like this pandemic. It's my opinion like that.
You are right, Dia. If you are still in need of food, you never think about safety or health. Yeah, you are right.
So maybe this pandemic issue also give us more chance, yeah, to do more to the society, like what the last question from Baik, that what can the youth do? I think this also opportunity where we try to do things for ourselves. Also, we need to start doing things for other people. Of course, in the way that it is still safe for us. I mean, we don't just go out and then try to do something for the community, but we can do things helping the community without risking ourselves, especially our health issues.
Yes, Iwan, I think I would like to suggest further activities after this webinar. We should educate people, and we should, we should do things that maybe the government is not aware of. We from the educational institution, maybe can suggest things to improve the health of the population in the cities. Maybe the government are not aware about it, and so we can do something. At least that's what we can do.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant, Ibu. I think we need to follow up on that idea, and I'm sure we can do things for our society or community. And I look forward to discuss later with you about how we can do this, inshallah, in the future.
Okay.
I think if there is no more question, Ibu Dya, we start to end the session. Maybe,
yes,
or maybe any other comments or question from the audience, from the YouTube chats or from this room? Otherwise, I think we should ask Ibu Juli and Dr. Prapat, each of you to give like a closing statement for this session, and after that, Ibu Dya will close the session.
Thank you, Iwan. I'm really honored to be here with all of you. Actually, it's a very long time thinking about the environment and health. It has been so many years working with it, and still it's not, the result is not as good as I expect to be. That's why I think we still have to go on doing things like this. And I would like to congratulate you, people from, but I'm then only emeritus professor, but I would like to congratulate you, young people who are still very active in this field, and please be patient with our society. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Juli. Dr. Prapat, please.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me. This is my first online seminar. It would be my pleasure. And actually, I'm not sure about the situation of COVID-19 in Indonesia, and I hope that it will become better soon. The last thing is just as I mentioned a lot in my presentation, that I think right now is a good time for us to think about the change to the new normal. If we would like to integrate the COVID-19 issue and also the environmental issue together, now people everywhere in the world are ready to change. We are going to the new normal. So the new normal will be the new future for us. If we design a good structure for the new future, our new future can be better for sure. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Prapat. Before Budia close the session, maybe just a quick information that we Itenas went to Dr. Prapat's campus end of last year, and actually this year we're planning to have Dr. Prapat in Itenas, but unfortunately because of this pandemic, we have to postpone the plan. So hopefully in the next near future, we'll be able to have you here in person. And I still remember your kind welcome with your president. So thank you again for your hospitality.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you, Pak Iwan. So we are honored here today to have Prof. Juli and Dr. Prapat in this webinar. And through this webinar, we gained many new insights. But I think the most important is that we have to learn to adapt to what is called the new normal, and how we can work together to build the new normal. And this should be seen as a new opportunity. So we should, we have to accept that this COVID may not be soon enough, or will not be eliminated, and we have to work in the environment like that. Is there any other comments from Pak Iwan?
I think that will be enough. Thank you again for Ibu Juli, Dr. Prapat, and all the audience. And I think before we finally close the session, there's a request from the host that if possible, all of you to show your video. We're going to take picture virtually, of course. So please, if you're still in this Zoom meeting room, to show yourself. And then the host will take the picture of all of us.
Yes, please turn your camera on so we can take a group picture.
Pak Chandra, Pak Niko, maybe if you think it's enough, then we can stop, but we still need time to take picture. Any special, what do you call it, or pose, maybe Pak Chandra, Pak Niko, or just normal, yeah?
Yes.
Is it done? Okay, I think that will be enough. Again, on behalf of the organizer, the head of the Department of Environmental Engineering, especially Kelompok Kajian, Lingkungan, dan Keberlanjutan, we thank all of you for being here. And for sure, this will be our last. Tomorrow, we'll have another session with Pak Chandra and Pak Didin. So please also come and do the discussion with us. From me, I think that's enough. Mangga Budia, maybe.
Thank you very much. I think it's enough also for me. Thank you very much for joining this webinar. To all of the participants, I appreciate all of your questions and comments, and many people studying here in Zoom meeting and also through the Facebook, through the YouTube channel. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. See you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.